All right, so today I'm going to show you how to create, join, and end a Google Meet for your classes. Before I do that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about why I use Google Meet over a different tool like Zoom. I don't use Zoom because in the beginning there were privacy issues. A lot of those issues have been resolved, but because I've been using Google Meet, I don't really feel like I have a need to change. I do feel like Google Meet is a little bit more user friendly. It's simpler. There's not a whole lot of bells and whistles, and I don't need the bells and whistles. So to me, Google Meet is easier to use, and so that's why I choose to use it. And it also, because it is a Google tool, it integrates with Classroom and Calendar fairly smoothly. So there are pros and cons. There's two different ways to set up a Meet, and there are pros and cons to both of them. One way that you can set up Google Meet is directly in Google Classroom. So it will embed a link for you up in the banner of your specific classroom. Now, the pro to that would be that that code or that link is specific to that class. So no other class has access to it. Students cannot join the Meet without you. So you need to be there and have joined first before they can join you. It's easy access for the students. It's just going to show up here. I'll show you that in a minute so they can access it fairly quickly. But the difference is that we have been using office hours where there will be multiple students who may want to reach us at the same time from multiple classes. So because having it embedded in Google Classroom is specific to that class, a different class cannot access it as well. So if you need to do those office hours where anyone can reach you during that specific time, it's harder to do. You'll have multiple meets open at the same time, and it's just not as streamlined. Now, the other way to do it is to have it on Google Calendar, which is what I'm going to show you as well. The pro to this is that it's organized also with their assignments. So it shows all of their work for the class in one single area. It's pretty easy to set up. Once you set up one, you can set up multiples. It's conducive to that office hours. So because it's in Google Calendar and I'm going to duplicate one event for all my classes, they all have the same Google Meet link. So I can have them access the office hours no matter what class they're in with me at the same time. The con is that students can be on there without you. So there is that drawback. But to me, for me, it's a better tool. So I just choose to use it instead through the Google Calendar. Okay, so let me show you first how to add it through to embed it onto your Google Classroom. So here I have a class that I haven't done this with yet, and you can see that there isn't a link up here at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the settings gear in the top right hand corner, and I'm going to scroll down to general. So as you can see, there's the button to generate a Meet link. As soon as I click on that, it's going to give me a unique link that's just for this class, and it's visible to students as soon as I hit save. So, and it's not visible until I hit save. If I want to copy this, maybe to send it to my period 3 class in an email or via Remind, I can do that. If I want to reset it to a different link, which is something that you can do before each session, then I can reset it there. So as soon as I hit save, you'll see it's going to show up in the banner for the class. So now it's here, and all I need to do is click on it, and it's going to take me to my Google Meet for that class. Again, students can't join until you join with them. Now, when you're all done with it and you hang up, don't hang up until all of the other students have left. So as soon as you are the only person who is left in that meeting, then hang up from that meeting and then immediately go back to your settings. Take off the visible to students. So toggle that back to off and then click save. And you'll notice now that it's gone. So students can't access it again without you being there. If they copied and pasted it, they can't access it because you're not there. But you do have to do that step once all of the students have left the Meet in the first place. Okay. Now the other option, which is the option that I use most frequently, is having an event in my Google Calendar. So to create an event in Google Calendar from anywhere within Google Classroom, be it from the classes doc over to just clicking on a specific class, I can access this waffle and the calendar. Okay. You can also access the calendar by clicking on classwork and then Google Calendar, so it's there. Okay. So now that I'm in Google Calendar, I'm going to click on the Create button, and I'm going to select More Options. Okay. So now I have my event open with more details that I want to have. Okay. So I'm going to start by giving it a title. So period 1 Google Meet. Okay. Now let's say period 1 meets every day from 10:30 to 11:30, right? So I've got the same day here. It's the 24th. Now let's say this event repeats Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever. I'm going to select my repeat. It's easier just to go down to custom. I'm going to repeat it every week on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I'm going to have it end on our last day of school, which would be June 11th. Okay, so now it's done. So I've got the date, just one day with the time, but I do have it repeating every Monday, Wednesday, Friday until June 2020. Okay, now I'm going to add Google Meet video conferencing. So there it's going to generate for me a link. If I want it to notify me 10 minutes before, I can. I want to make sure it's in the right class. And then any notes I want them to have, I'm going to add notes here. I don't want them to invite anybody else or see the guest list, so I'm going to uncheck that. I'm going to double check everything, make sure it's exactly how I want it to be. And then I'm going to click Save. Now, once I click Save, you can see now every Friday until June 11th, I've got that event. Now, let's say I want to copy that event to another class. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the event, and then I'm going to click on the vertical ellipses, and I can duplicate this event to any other class. Okay, so let's say I want to copy it to period 6. So if my time is the same, which would be strange, but let's say this one starts at 11:45 and goes until 12:45, and it is not Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but instead this one is Tuesday and Thursday. Right? And then I also want it to end on June 12th. I want to make sure that it's the correct class. Everything else is the same. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save. So now that's going to show up for every single, for period 1 as well. Okay. So again, to me, it's easier because I can duplicate it for multiple classes and just change the timing for each of them and maybe the meeting schedule. Okay. So now that I've got this class created, or this event created, now what I want to do is I want to instruct my students how to join it. So again, if you are using it as an embedded link within your classroom, very simply, again, make sure that it's turned on. So I'm going to go back to settings, and I'm going to generate that code, and I'm going to save it. So now it's in my banner, so I can direct them to click on the link within the banner, or I can direct them to go to their Google Calendar, click directly on the event, and then join the meeting there. Okay, and then again, when I'm done, this will still be here on Calendar, but when I'm done on, if I've got it embedded within Google Classroom, then I do need to make sure that I make it not visible to students after they've all left the meeting. And now that link is gone. Okay, so again, because we're utilizing office hours, that's why I choose to use Google Meet in here. I just tell my students, if you missed your morning time and you need to make up that attendance, click on the day and you can connect to the link there. Okay, now let's say I don't need this meet for period 6, so I'm going to go ahead and trash it, and I want to trash this and all other events, so I'm going to hit OK, and now that's gone. All right.